Hello guys, right, let's get into it.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
Hey friends, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you're doing well. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News. That's right, the twice daily series here on the channel where I reflect on what's being said about Chelsea, giving you my opinion on it, more importantly asking for yours. Today, we're talking about finding Enzo Maresca, where the ruddy heck is the Chelsea manager who has apparently officially been working at Chelsea for 4 days. No media. We'll talk about that a little bit. Ben Jacobs, reporter, has said that Chelsea appreciate and are considering Karol Mitoma. And yes, of course, sick reflex of me talking about a Brighton player. I feel it too. Don't worry. But he was sick. Slightly more of a senior winger, left-sided player. Really high octane and exciting. I do want to talk about it a little bit. And just for fun, we will look at his stats as well, because we like having fun, don't we? So, yeah, I also very quickly want to say one more thing on this Neil Bath situation in just a moment, because that's big news around social media at the moment. But as always, thank you for joining me. A bit of housework, guys. Thank you for being here, hanging out with me. If you want to support the content, it's easy. Simply drop a quick like, subscribe to the channel if you think you might enjoy more content. Hit the bell if you choose to subscribe. And yeah, let's get into it. So look, more stories, stuff's come out about Neil Bath. Of course, we reacted to some news that it was an amicable split and he wanted to leave, and it was just like a holiday, essentially. Apparently that was briefing. There's a lot of people that don't work in the media and like journalism, but are close to him and Chelsea, that have suggested that it's not amicable and he's very upset that Fraser was canned, essentially fired, and then therefore he's quitting. So Chelsea aren't sacking him. They want to keep Neil Bath, you know, the big boy, the head honcho of youth development. But he's not happy with how they've behaved, so he's walking away. It's inferred that it's agreed to be presented as an amicable split because he loves Chelsea and doesn't want to cause a stink. I'm not going to speak too much more about it. Look, it's very frustrating. It's a huge loss. I know people are arguing on X, social media, trying to do mental gymnastics, how it doesn't matter that he's gone. The truth is, just look at his body of work. It's immaculate. It is a loss to Chelsea, and it's very disappointing. I'm not going to say anything else on it. I've spoken here. I've made my position known on social media, and it's just pointless ruminating on something that's done. So let's shake it off, guys. Deep breath in. Releasing all the negative tension as we move forward with our lives and Chelsea. So, speaking of moving forwards, where the ruddy heck is the Chelsea first team coach? The Italian, Enzo Moresco. Moresco? Who's that geezer? Maresca. Look, how are things supposed to be tutto bene when one doesn't even see the manager? Look, this is peculiar, right? Because we've joked, or I've joked here on the channel, that he's only officially started work on Monday. That's the beginning of the week. Tomorrow's the end of the working week. But he would have made loads of calls to certain players already. Apparently he spoke to Mark Yu, which was integral to him signing. This is long before he officially started working for Chelsea. But we all know, in the world of football, this is how things work. Whether they're on gardening leave, that's a little bit more official. But before they officially start, he'll be doing, especially as so much of a obsessive, meticulous football coach as he is, he would have been doing loads of work and already doing. I mean, his presentation to Chelsea when he was being interviewed apparently was comprehensive and extensive, and that's what impressed the sporting directors, because he already knew so much about the Chelsea squad and how he would deploy certain players and how he would look to develop certain players, right? That was his thing. So you can bet your bottom dollar, fam, that he was doing work as soon as it was agreed and they shook hands and he signed the contract. So he officially started working on Monday. Today, it's Thursday evening at time of recording. So where is he? Wagwan. What's happening here? I saw people speculate on social media, replying to me in DM requests at Football Yannick, if you do want to follow me on Instagram, that people knew that this stuff was happening with Neil Bath, maybe, and they wanted to get announcements out of the way that he's leaving. There's also another physio or a masseur leaving as well. And they wanted to get those out of the way before they just sort of, again, clean the slate for the summer and then start with the good news. There you go. Here's the manager. Shiny, smiley, happy. Everyone's cool. Everyone's happy. Let's forget about the bad stuff. Let's move on into the season. There's a chance that's the case, I suppose. But like, is he at Cobham and he's just deliberately not being photographed yet because he's going to do an interview? It is peculiar. Maybe they are waiting for one or two things, but I don't know. Yeah, it'd be nice to hear from him. It'd be nice to get some photos of him. That, turn some frowns upside down. Whenever you get a new gaffer in, seeing them in the Chelsea training gear, it does create a good feeling, doesn't it? Because it means like, right, we're going. We've got going, and every little thing is going to be all right. No woman, no cry. All right, transfers. We are in a transfer window. Lest we forget, we've made transfers, lots of transfers, ins and outs. Few ins, not that many ins. Highest profile, I suppose, so far is Dewsbury Hall, who's been at Chelsea. He's someone who's been pictured at Cobham, hanging out with certain man. Chile's there, Tosin's there, Chalabar's there training. I think a couple more start bleeding in now that aren't at, the Copa America and aren't at the Euros. They'll be joining soon. So there are players there, and this will be an opportunity properly for Enzo Maresca, if he even exists. Schrodinger's Maresca. Opportunity for him to look at people, therefore we can assess a little bit closer what we think. He's obviously got, like I said, because he had that extensive presentation on the Chelsea squad, he'll know so much about the players already, and he'll probably have an idea of squad building and transfers to come. But having the eye test in front of you, and you could say to them, do that. Can you do that? Okay, maybe you can do that. Do you know what I mean? And then you can change his opinion. I've made my opinion known about like the goalkeeper and stuff. I've got huge concerns, especially it's sounding like, obviously now Ben Roberts is going to do more goalkeeping coaching and he's going to be more hands-on. Now Pochettino and his goalkeeping coach have gone. And we know that he loves Rob Sanchez. Makes me a little bit concerned because at Chelsea, I never saw a good Rob Sanchez. I was quite on board with the signing because I was like, oh, he's a good goalkeeper. That would have cost 50 million not that long ago, but we got him for 25 million because he fell out with Roberto De Zerbi and got relegated to the development squad or whatever, and then we capitalizing off a situation. But no, I just didn't no. And look, I know he got dropped via an injury, but he stayed dropped because Petrovic came in and was playing better than he was playing prior to his injury. So I'm really, really concerned about that. So, of course, goalkeeper, the fact how we were being linked with Mamadashvili a little bit, and other goalkeepers, but that's gone quiet. So I'm concerned about that. But, of course, we are also left backs, huge for Chile to get seen by Maresca. I do have concerns for him. Of course, there's conflicting stories on whether he will be sold or not. Cucurella, I don't know, the mood around Cucurella, I feel like he won't be sold. Purely because he's having a lovely time with Spain. They look like the best team left in the Euros now. Of course, he's just ended the season very strong for Chelsea. Slightly younger than Chile. He can invert into midfield. He's a good personality. I mean, Chile does loads of media as well when he's vice captain, but there's a sort of fun element to Cucu that everyone really liked. And he seems to be excited about Chelsea next season. He's been interviewed last couple of days saying, oh yeah, I'm telling Nico Williams to come to Chelsea, and all this kind of stuff. So I think he wants to stay at Chelsea personally, Cucurella. And I think unless Chelsea get a massive offer for him, they won't sell. But the truth is, they're both on big wages that Chelsea would probably rather not be paying them, either of them, that amount. There's probably an understanding that Reece James, if he plays for Chelsea, Champions League winger, captain of the club, when fit in England international, that, right, yeah, we'll pay him that, if he's fit and starting and being the guy we expect him to be. But you don't really have that. I mean, Reece James is Galactico. You don't have that in Chilwell or Cucurella. You just don't. They're both really good on their day at certain styles of playing, but I think Chelsea, if they could have the way, they would have two sort of Gusto level wage brackets on the left back position. Unless, of course, you found truly like a Reece James left back, level left, like an Alphonso Davies or something like that. Who, by the way, is a Chelsea fan. So look, let's go up the field a little bit more. Well, of course, midfielders we know after we signed Dewsbury Hall, after, Maresca, we'll look at Santos and other players as well. We've got a strong roster there. We are looking at striker. I'm going to show you Mitoma stats in just a moment, but I do want to mention as well, I forgot to say this at the top of the video, Osimhen. The asking price for Osimhen has dropped massively. It's like 85 million quid or something. And bearing in mind, I mean, I don't know exactly the conversion exactly for euros, but it was about originally when they'd won the Scudetto and people were talking about them, they wanted like crazy money, like 150 million quid. And there was like, well, 130 million quid. And now it's gone down like 45 million quid from that or more. 100. It's gone down tens and tens of millions to the point where maybe, obviously he's got loads of offers for Saudi on the table. I don't know if he's considering that. He sort of balked at it at one point, but he might be considering it now. But he's going. Like, Conte knows he's going. He's like, yeah, he's going. Of course, we talked about Conte wants Lukaku. Whether there's talks going on in the background, I don't know. Of course, Belgium have been eliminated from the Euros now, so Lukaku's available for negotiations. So that'd be really, really interesting. But Osimhen's price is discounted, and we know he'd come to Chelsea in terms of a destination. But of course, we'd have to pay his wages, and his wages would be significant. They'd be like, Nico Williams, Michael Elise level wages. But of course, you can make an argument that Osimhen deserves them more, and Chelsea would be more inclined to give it to him because he's a rarer profile of player in centre forward, high profile centre forward. He's a bit more senior, and of course, he's won a league title as well, which is a big boon to his name, and he's a bit of an icon as well for his country. So there is that. I don't know what to think about Osimhen. I think he's one of those players that if he signed for Chelsea, it'd be really exciting. Just because it'd be like, Osimhen signing for Chelsea, but he's not done much recently to get the juices flowing as a striker, and it's a massive outlay, dude. So let me know what you think. Comment down below. Would you pay 85 million for Osimhen? Would you? All right, we're gonna have a look at Mitoma now because he was sick for a while, and the fact that Ben Jacobs has said this, I do want to remind all of us. So I'm going to use a few websites here. As you can see, this is Understat. It's a comparison, and this is not a dig at Mudryk, because Mudryk's very balanced, as you can see here. It's just maybe slightly underperforming. Mitoma playing for Brighton, and by the way, more than 1,500 more minutes sample size here, as you can see up here, which is actually harder to sustain good numbers. This is strong stuff from Mitoma, as you can see, the green and the blue obviously being Mudryk. Let's move that over a little bit so you can see a bit better. Yeah, I mean, everything. The goals per 90, not much better than Mudryk, but better. Expected goals per 90 better. I mean, everything's better except key passes per 90. So a little bit more passy from Mudryk. But yeah, the expected assists, everything's way better. The XG chain, much better. I'm going to show you a little bit more stuff as well. So I'm going to show you, this is a scouting report on FBref. I want to look at his strengths. Unsurprisingly, his strongest stuff is dribbling. I think he did like a degree or a thesis on dribbling when he did his degree, which is, it shows. The guy is one of the best dribblers in the world. 6.39 progressive carries per 90 is immense. Praying for Brian as well. Average, he takes a lot of long shots, interestingly, but like carries into the penalty area, progressive carries. Successful take-ons that lead to goal. These are all dribbling stats. Progressive passes is still strong, and he has a lot of shots on target. It's 45%. So for wingers, he's in the top 7% for shots on target. Now, I do want to take a quick look at this as well. His X-value page for context. Let me just quickly look at his profiling here. As you can see, he's 27 as well. Recently turned 27, so he'll represent a senior player. It's the kind of age we signed Raheem Sterling at. It's worth mentioning. So he's a left footer, right? He's a right footer, left-sided player, which is now apparently what Chelsea are looking for. As you can see, his strengths, shooting's quite strong, but his strengths really are carries, assisting, and passes. And as you can see from his heat map there, he is a bona fide left winger, up and down on the left. Of course, he's one of these players that get you off his seat. I think he's more exciting at the moment than Mudryk. Obviously, he's older than Mudryk. He's more of an accomplished dribbler than Mudryk. He will make stuff happen more in the final third. When you've got possession and the game slows down because you're coming up against a deep block, you want Mitoma over a Mudryk, for example. That's just where we are at. Now, this is the season, last season. But if I went the season before that, because he played more minutes, wasn't injured for Brighton. He's had a direct goal involvement nearly every other game. Again, very strong for Brighton. Build up, he 83.3% pass accuracy, pretty strong for a dribbling forward. But I want to look at this advanced stats page here for more context. Right, he's a 1-to-1 explorer in terms of his profiling. You look at his per 90 stats here. As you can see, he's in the 80th percentile for expected goals per 90. 82nd, a little bit higher for non-penalty. But what's really strong here, guys, as you can see, is chance creation. He's in the 90th percentile. Open play, expected assists, he's in the 93rd percentile. And expected threat, I believe that is expected offensive value added. Basically, as an attacker, he's really, really strong. Now this, guys, expected threat, he's in the 99th percentile. Just to remind you, expected threat measures the increase in the probability of scoring provided by passes and ball carries. Essentially, this progression here is how much you are helping the attack, and his percentile here, which is the top 1%, top 5%, top 2%, etc., is very, very, very strong. It's being compared to actually Madueke and Doku and stuff is being compared to here on the 1-to-1 Explorer. A little bit more senior, and you'd have to say as well with Mitoma, he would not demand crazy wages. You'd give him 27 years old. What would you give him? A 4+1 deal to keep yourself safe? You could probably pay him Mudryk wages with incentive-based contract. It'd still probably be doubling his wages from Brighton. And I must say, I know as soon as I see that Brighton shirt and Chelsea related, I do feel sick. But despite that, I think it would be quite an exciting signing. Just me, though. What do you think? Please let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Thank you for leaving them. Thank you, as always, for supporting the content here on Football Therapy. I love hanging out with you guys, reading the comments. I hope you like it too. You're all welcome. And yeah, man, I hope to see you back here. Peace.